निर्वार अकाल मूरत अजूनी सापं गुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच आपी सच नानक होसी भी सच कहा बुद्ध प्रभ तुच्छ हमारी बरनस क महिमा जो तिहारी हम न सकत कर सिफत तुम्हारी आप ले हो तुम कथा सदारी हम न सकत कर सिफत तुम्हारी आप ले हो तुम कथा सुधारी वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह Sangat ji, we're all very blessed to be sat here in the court of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. We're so blessed to be in their presence, and we're even more blessed to be remembering the Shaheeds of this month. We're so blessed to be remembering the Chotte Sahibzade and today especially Mata Gujri Kaur Ji. So today's Katha will be focused on Mata Gujri Ji's Jeevani, and I know this can be a very emotional time for most of us, but today I just want you to take strength from everything I'm about to share with you. So, Mata Gujri's name, Mata Gujri Ji, the word Gujri means Sukh. It means Sukh Den Wali, so peace, happiness, the one who brings that peace and happiness into everyone's life. And as we go through it, we're just going to see how they give peace through their life. So I'll just start with the basics. Their Janam was in Chotte Sahib, and they have two brothers. They're the middle child, Mataji was. So they have an older brother called Mehad Chand, and they have a younger brother called Kirpal Chand. And as we go through Itihas, we come to realize that this is the same Kirpal Chand that we refer to as Mamma Kirpal Chand later on in Guru Gobind Singh Ji's times. So as I mentioned, Mataji was the middle child and she was the only girl. And her dad was Bhai Lal Chand Ji, and her mom was known as Mata Bisham Kaur Ji. So I'll begin by Mataji's marriage, because they were only around 11 or 12 when they got married. So that was basically like the beginning of their life. So before that, they obviously lived with their parents, and they were loved a lot because they were the only girl and they were the middle child. They lived a very lavish life and they got a lot of love from both their parents. And then at the age of 11 or 12, they got married to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, and Maharaj was the son of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, and they were the first Surma Guru that we know of in Itihas. And their mahal, their wife, was Mata Nanki Ji. So these were Mata Gujri Ji's in-laws. I know it can get a bit confusing, but if you just follow through, I will try and like paint a family tree as we move on. So Hanji, those were Mataji's in-laws. And then Mataji eventually had Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, which was their only child, and then from there the family tree like plays out, which I will keep bringing back to. So Mataji got married at the age of 11 or 12, and they lived in Amritsar Sahib with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, and they lived a very lavish life. As you can imagine, they were married into the Guru's house. At that time it was Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj who was the Guru. So obviously they had like plenty of sangat, and they were just like living in riches. And that lasted for quite a bit because that's when they were initially married. And then as time went on, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj passed on the Gurta Gaddi to Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji. And at this time, they told Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj to go to Bakala, which we later on know as Baba Bakala. So they sent them there, but they only sent them there with Mata Gujri Ji and Mata Nanki Ji, who was their mother. So just Guru Sahib, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj with their mother and their wife. There was no sangat, there was nobody to help around. So Mataji literally moved from getting married into a lavish life, you know, a wealthy family, and then they moved to Bakala, just the three of them. And obviously they had to look after each other, they had to be there for each other. And I just want to make this a bit more real and bring it now back to our lives. As girls, as Bibia, when we get married, we have to move as well. And it is a big change, it is a hard change. But look at Mataji, she left her house and went into her in-laws. And then as if that wasn't enough, she left there and moved to Bakala only with her mother-in-law and her husband. And at that time, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj used to sit in a pora and he used to do bhakti over there. So Maharaj used to sit in meditation, he used to join his lib, his surti to Akal Purkh Vaheguru because they are just the one jot. So he used to sit in that meditation, in that bhakti, in that love, day and night. And Maharaj did this for 26 years. And now the beautiful thing about Mata Gujri Kaur is, as we go back, she's the giver of peace, the giver of happiness. So what did she do in this situation? She was there to support her husband 24/7. She sat outside the Pora Sahib, which is almost like a cave. So she sat right outside it and she would guard it so that nobody could disturb Maharaj while they were doing their bhakti. So she sat there every day and every night for 26 years. And obviously, because Maharaj was doing bhakti, Mataji was doing bhakti as well. So she would also join her surti to Akal Purkh Vaheguru, and that made her a Brahma Gyani. Brahm means ek, the one. Gyani is someone who has the knowledge, but not the book knowledge that we can learn, the knowledge where you actually feel and know of that one's presence. So Maharaj became a Maharaj was already a Brahma Gyani, and Mata Gujri Kaur Ji also became a Brahma Gyani because she did bhakti for 26 years with her husband. Just that her husband was inside and she was outside. She used to do their seva day and night. She had no desires, no fear. She was literally one with one with God. She had no desires at all. She would sit there and she would do seva of Maharaj. She would make for them food. She would, do their malish, because it's not easy to sit down in a chankra for 24 hours, day and night, and not only one day, but 26 years. This is a very, very large number, Sangatji, and I just want us to be able to comprehend it. Imagine that, you're a new wife, now you've moved to a different place where you're not familiar with, and you're just on your own with your husband, who isn't even having much contact with you. It's very limited conversation, and you're just there doing their seva day in and day out, and you're also doing bhakti. So Mataji used to sit there and make sure nobody disturbed Maharaj while they were doing their bhakti. And she had so much prem, because she had so much peace and sukh inside her, she loved her mother-in-law with all her heart. Mata Gujri Ji and Mata Nanki Ji, they had the best relationship ever. And that's only something that today we can aspire to have. As I mentioned, I know it is hard to leave and go to another family, but having that relationship with your mother-in-law, it gives you half of the peace that you're looking for. So they had such an amazing relationship, and then obviously they'd speak to each other like every night, because they were the only sangat that they had. The two of them were each other's sangat. And then from there, Mata Nanki Ji goes, you know what, now that my son's married, I have this desire where I want a grandchild as well. Because we all know that's how it works. You get married, you have a child. But look at this, Mata Gujri Kaur Ji, for 26 years, not once did she have that desire. Not once did that thought cross her mind that, oh, you know what, my husband's just always doing bhakti. How nice would it be if we could have a child as well? So from there, their mother, Mata Nanki Ji, went to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj and had that conversation with them. They said, please, firstly, forgive me for disrupting your bhakti, your meditation, but I have this humble benti, ki main bhi dadi banna chahndi ha. I want to be a dadi as well. I want to have grandchildren as well. And so they spoke to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, and from there, Maharaj says, okay, fine, after 26 years of just doing bhakti, I will perform my Grihastha Jivan as well, my worldly rituals. And this is so amazing because Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj in Bachittar Natak, they write about it. They wrote about how both their parents did bhakti for 26 years in order for them to come to this world. That's how amazing they are, and that's how amazing their parents are. Sorry, there's a bhakti that talks exactly about it. I'm just going to pull it up. It says, Tan Tan Pita, Tan Tan Kul, Tan Tan So Janani, Jin Guru Janaya Mai. So Tan Tan Pita, blessed is that father, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. Blessed is that family, Mata Nanki Ji. Blessed is that mother, the one who brought Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj into this world after 33 years. Because as I mentioned, Mataji and Guru Sahib did Bhakti for 26 years, and then you also have to take into the consideration the years before when they just got married, and then obviously after their Bhakti, so it totals to a total of 33 years that they didn't have a child. And this is a big deal. 33 years to not have a child and to have like a successful marriage is a big deal. And I think just bringing it back home, this just teaches us tolerance, it teaches us patience, it teaches us to take upon those virtues that will make our lives a lot easier. It will give us a lot of peace and happiness. Let's try and look back at the house and see what we can implement in our lives, in our marriages, just to be a bit more happy. So after 33 years, Mata Gujri ji was in Patna Sahib, and that is where Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was born. But just to make things worse, at this time Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj ji wasn't even there when their own son was born. They were outside doing prachar, and not prachar as we know it today, you know, just like sit on stage. And obviously Maharaj was there to lift that burden off of the world, to take that weight and that pain out of people's hearts, out of their lives. So Maharaj was out there doing the prachar, and Mataji had Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj in Patna Sahib. So imagine, after 33 years, you finally had a child, and your husband's not even there. Not there to witness the birth, not there to help you through it. But because Mataji was so strong, she done all of this by herself, and not once did she blame anybody. Because that's just who she was. She was just so full of peace and happiness that she knew that's as it was going to be, and that pleased her as well. So as I mentioned, for those 26 years, Mataji used to do their seva, and I also mentioned that Mataji was a Brahmgyani, meaning that she knew that one in everyone, and because she knew that when she left Amritsar Sahib and moved to Bakala, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj told Mataji that one day your husband, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, is going to get the Gurta Gadi, and one day you are going to have a Surma child. So Mataji left knowing all this knowledge, and in Bakala, that we know as Baba Bakala later on, she looked after her husband and she did his seva. And in the Ratname, we hear that this is known as, when you do seva of your husband in this form, it's known as Pati Parmesar. I'm pretty sure we've all heard that term before. And it's not only to see God in your husband, but Mataji knew that was the form of God, that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj was one with Akal Purkh Vaheguru, and she served them with their heart. She gave her all. She treated them like that was the light of God. And that just brings back to our lives again. Let's serve each other with that same love. If we can't already see the light of God in everybody, let's aspire to. Let's take that step, be it your husband, be it your wife, be it your parents, your children, your friends. Let's all try and serve and love each other with that knowledge that that light of God resides in each and every one of us. It's no more in anybody else and no less in anyone else. So let's keep that in mind as we move forward. So as I mentioned, Mataji had no desires because she didn't ask for anything, she didn't complain. She just went on with it as it was. And then she got blessed with a child. Sorry. So not only did Mataji not have any desires, but she was so fearless, we cannot even comprehend it. And you know what? While I was preparing this Katha, this was the most amazing thing for me, because hearing Mataji Sakya, I've only known her to be the Chotte Sahibzade's grandmother. But you know what, guys? She was way more than that. She was someone's daughter. Then she became someone's wife. And then she became someone's mother. And eventually she became someone's grandmother. So let's not just limit her to our Dadi. She's our everything. So she was fearless. And this just shows out in her Jeevani. So obviously, because Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj was the son of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, who we know was a Surma, they used to fight in wars and battles. So there was the Kartarpur Sahib Di Jang, there was a battle there, and Mataji, with a smile on her face, she sent her husband into war, knowing very well that anything could happen. Actually, it says that in at the house, like she used to climb up onto like the balcony or like the top where she could see everything, and she used to watch Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj on the battlefield. How brave of a woman do you have to be to do that, to actually watch your husband fight? Not only your husband, but your father-in-law as well. So that was one instance where she was super fearless. And then, so in Punjabi we say nirpo, and there's a pankti that comes, nirpo japa sagal pa mite. So by remembering that one who is fearless, Akal Purakh Ji Vaheguru, by remembering them, meditating upon them, we become fearless as well. And as I mentioned, Mataji did this for 26 years, so of course she was fearless. And then the second instance was when in Bakala, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj was found out to be the next Guru, because nobody was sure who the next one was. And then they found out it was going to be Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, who was going to be the next Guru. And now you can imagine, from a life where it was just the three of them living there, in their peace, everyone was doing bhakti, there was not much chaos, not much conversation. Now all of a sudden they find out that, hey, you know what, this is going to be the next Guru Sahib on the Gurtagaddi. So all the Sangat come and there's like loads of chaos, there's like so much going on. And obviously there's a lot of people who were jealous. So at that time there was Tirmal who was jealous of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. And out of his jealousy, he attempted to shoot Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. And as he went for the shot, it just passed Maharaj's head. It literally just scraped their head and passed. And Mata Gujri Kaur Ji was standing there when that happened. But because of all the strength in her, all she did was smile. She didn't have even an ounce of fear. She did not fear for even a second that her husband was about to be shot in the head. She smiled because she knew nothing could happen to him. So that was another instance where Mataji was super fearless. And then, as I mentioned, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was born in Patna Sahib, and Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj wasn't present at the time of their birth. And not only then, but Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj didn't come back until Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was of the age of 4, or some even say 5. Now you can imagine, we can see children these days and they're really inquisitive. So as Guru Sahib Ji grew up, he would ask his mother, Mata Gujri Kaur Ji, that where is my father? Why hasn't he been there since I've been born? Why doesn't he come and see me? Obviously Guru Sahib had all these questions, and it comes in Vichitra Natak as well. We know Guru Gobind Singh Ji to be really strong, which they were, but obviously they did have a loving side as well. They did have these questions, they did have that love with their mother and their father. They always had the question, where is my father? Why isn't he coming to see me? And then he found out one day at the age of either 4 or 5 that his father was going to come and see him. And then when that happened, obviously they were both really happy because this was the first time they were meeting. But Mata Gujri Kaur Ji gave Guru Gobind Singh Ji such a great sikhya that today is the day your father's going to come and see you. And not only is he going to see you, but he's going to bless you, because that is Guru Sahib. So what Mataji said was, go to your father and do namaskar, do pari hath and do matha tek. That is your Guru. Don't just go, treat it very lightly, give them a hug. Obviously love counts, but they said satkar nal jai. Show them everything I've taught you in these 4 to 5 years. This is your Guru. Go and surrender yourself to them. And that's exactly what Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj did. He went up to his father, who he was meeting for the first time after 4 or 5 years, and he did namaskar from a distance. He went ahead and he did pari hath. He touched Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj's feet, and he did matha tek. He bowed his head in their feet, because that was not only his father but his Guru. And this sikhya only came from Mata Gujri Ji. And that just shows the importance, the role that we women have in bringing up our children. Let's not take it lightly. We are the ones who shape their future. So then moving on, now Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj is about 4, 5 years old, and it's said in Itihas that the family was only together for a span of about 2.5, maybe pushing it 3 years. So the father, the mother, the child, the grandmother, the family was only a whole for a very limited amount of time. Because by the time that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was at the age of 9, so 9 years old, that's when their own father went to give Shaheedi. And the beautiful thing about this is that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj themselves are the ones who sent their own father to go and give their head, to go and give Shaheedi, even that for another faith. None of us can do that. None of us are willing to, tell our parents that we can potentially survive without them. And here, because of how Mata Gujri brought up Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, all the Sikh here, all the teachings, all the love, all the strength and the courage, it came a time where Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, at the age of 9, was able to turn around and tell their father that, you know what, only you can give this Mahan Shaheedi. There's nobody else who can do it but you. So bear in mind, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj has only lived with his father for a good 2, maybe 3 years. The rest of it has just been his mother's upbringing. And then obviously at this time, so we've already heard that Tir Mal tried to shoot Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, and now Maharaj was going to go give Shaheedi. So it's obviously not a very safe time for that family. But because they were all so fearless, they didn't let that affect them. So as I mentioned, Mata Gujri Kaur Ji's brother, Mamma Kirpal Chand, this is when he comes into play, this is when we hear more about him. So he was Guru Gobind Singh Ji's protector. Because now Guru Gobind Singh Ji was going to get the Gurtagati after their father. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was going to become the Guru, even though we know there were a lot of oppositions, even during Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj's times. So Mamma Kirpal Chand was given the duty to protect Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj at all times and at any cost. They had to stay with Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj 24/7 and protect them because they knew the risk, they knew the danger. Maharaj was only just a young boy of 9 years old. And so from that time, from that 9 years old, up until the very end, Mamma Kirpal Chand was there for Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. He even fought in battle with them. So now we move to when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was 9 years old and their dad went to give Shaheedi. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj went to give Shaheedi. And as we know, they came back with Maharaj's head. Only their cease is what came back. So they came back and they presented it to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj and to Mata Gujri Kaur Ji. And Mata Gujri, with all the love and all the strength and courage in her heart, looks at Maharaj's cease, does namaskar and smiles at her child Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. How she didn't break down into tears and have a weak moment, it just amazes me, because even hearing this, it is very emotional. But what did she do instead? She did namaskar and she smiled and she looked at Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, she looked at Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj's cease and she goes, Jidda thodi Sikhi nibgi, sadi vi nib jave. She said, the same way that your Sikhi stayed with you till the very end, that you even gave Shaheedi, please bless me that even my Sikhi stays till the very end of my life. And I think it's important that we take a moment to do that beinti as well. That ona dita nibagi, we talk about them, we sit here on stage and talk about them, but let's do that beinti from deep within, that sadi vi nib jave. Let our Sikhi stay strong till the end as well, Maharaj. Kirpa karo on all of us. Let's all do that beinti collectively. So as I mentioned, Mataji didn't cry, but she did namaskar instead. And in Bani it says, Jo nar dukh mein dukh nahi manna. So in that moment of dukh, of hardship, of sadness, of pain, the individual who doesn't see it as pain is a Brahmgyani. And that is Mata Gujri. She didn't see that as pain, she smiled. And she took that as a lesson to herself as well. So from there, Mata Gujri Kaur Ji was the only parent left for Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. So she was the only one, once again, to bring them up single-handedly. Obviously, she had the support of her brothers and the Sangat and everyone, but she was the only parent. She had to play both roles. And now Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was old enough to know what the role of a man is in his life. Maybe when he was younger, having that motherly love was enough. But now Mata Gujri Kaur Ji had to provide for her son as a father, and she also had to provide for a Panth as the Guru's Mahal and the Guru's mother. So at this time now, they were all in Anandpur Sahib. So Mata Gujri Kaur Ji and Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj were in Anandpur Sahib. And Mata Gujri Ji was an all-rounder. She went to the extent of writing Hukamname out to the Sangat. she would address the Sangat using Hukamname. That is such a big deal because we feel today as Bibiyan, as girls, that we can't do everything, but we have to. Firstly, we don't have to, but we can. That's the main thing. If we choose to do it, we need to know that we can. We can't be forced into it, but we do have the power to do everything, just as Mata Gujri Kaur ji did. So she used to look after the pant because her son was still young and her husband wasn't there. She wrote Hukamname out to the pant and she took charge. She looked after everything, made sure everything was in order. And then as time passed, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj obviously grew up and they started putting their foot into things as well. They started taking charge and they ended up getting married and having their Sahibzade as well. So they had Chotte Sahibzade that we all know of. And Mata Gujri Ji was still the center of that family. She was still the one who provided strength and support and sukh, as I mentioned earlier, to the whole family. Because we know that later on, when Baba Fateh Singh Ji, who was the youngest Sahibzada, was at the age of 2, their mother, Mata Jito Ji, left her body. And so I was just reading a bit of Itihas, and it said that because Mata Ji was a Brahmgyani as well, so Mata Jito Ji, she knew that her sons were going to attain Shaheedi at some point in their life. And she loved them so much, she said, you know what, I won't be able to bear this. But she also knew that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj is not going to change the will of Akal Purkh Waheguru. She knew it was going to play out exactly as it was, but she said, I don't have the strength to be able to be there and to live on after my own sons, all 4 of them, leave this world. So Mata Jito Ji left her body by taking her swas, her breath, into her dasam dwar. Through meditation, she took it to her dasam dwar and she left her body. So now this means that at the age of 2, we have Baba Fateh Singh Ji, who's the youngest Sahibzada. We all know 2 is a very young age. And whose responsibility is it to look after him, to bring him up? It comes back down to Mata Gujri Kaur Ji. She brought them up, she brought up all the Char Sahibzade and she looked after them with all their heart. It goes to the extent to say that because Baba Fateh Singh Ji was so young, Mata Gujri Kaur Ji used to feed them milk with a cotton wool. She used to take a cotton wool and dip it in milk and then feed it to Baba Fateh Singh Ji, because that's how young they were. That's how much laad pyar she had for them. That's how much love she brought them up with, like her very own children. So time goes on like this, and Mataji's bringing them up, obviously as very courageous surme. They all learned to fight, they all learned Shastra Vidya, and they were all very strong. And then it comes to a point where we all know about what we've been remembering lately, and the time where the whole Parvar is at Sarsa Nadi, Anandpur Sahib, when they leave there and go to Sarsa Nadi. So now this is the last time where Mata Gujri Kaur Ji is going to see the Khalsa Panth, the Sangat, her own son and 2 of her grandchildren. And she knows this because I mentioned she was a Brahmgyani. So Mataji knew exactly what was going to happen. And at Sarsa Nadi, where the Vichhora happened, where the family split and the Sangat, the Panth itself split, that was the last time Mata Gujri Ji was going to have darshan. And what did she do? She grabbed hold of the younger 2 Sahibzade, who she brought up as her own children, and said that since there's going to be a split, these 2 are going to stay with me. The rest of the Panth, they all split in separate ways, but the younger 2 Sahibzade, they were with Mata Gujri Kaur Ji when the split happened. So now you can imagine it's their Dadi and the 2 of them. And when we think about it, you know, maybe we've watched the movie Chotte Sahibzade or whatever, we just think about Mataji as their grandmother, you know, old grandmother, but not knowing how much strength she had. At that age, knowing very well that the Panth is going to split, she took the responsibility of the youngest 2 Sahibzade who she knew were going to grow up to be Surme. Let's bear that in mind. I think it's very easy where we forget that Mataji was such an amazing woman, such an amazing inspiration to us as Bibiya. She held it all together. And there's a line that I heard and it says, Adol Dadi de Potre. But before that comes, Adol Mataji de Jigra. So the only reason that the Sahibzade, her potre, were Adol, that they didn't waver, was because of her jigra, her heart, how massive her heart was, that she could bring them up to be surme who do not waver. And we'll hear about that in a second. So at Sarsadi Nadi, the Sahibzade were at the age of 7 and 9. So we have the youngest, Baba Fateh Singh Ji, at 7. And then the other Sahibzade, they split and went the other way. So it's not like they're really that small as well. We probably do see in pictures that Mataji must have picked them up and stuff, and we probably imagine that they were really small. But 7 and 9, we know that's like a decent height, a decent weight. So Mataji was really strong to physically look after both of them and herself. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, she was there for them. And now from from Sarsali Nadi, we then moved to Thandabot. So we know what happens in between. They had to stay at various different places, and it was just the two of them and their Dadi, Mata Gujri Kaurji and the do Chotte Sahibzade. Now we move to Thandabot, and this is where the three of them, the do Chotte Sahibzade and Mata Gujri Ji, spent 3 nights. 3 unforgettable nights for us. Because it's December now, and we know how cold it is outside. We can't get out without a jacket, can we? Look at me, I've got a flu, just because of the cold. But look at them, in the Thandabot, it was freezing. They didn't have no jackets, they didn't have nothing to keep them warm, nothing to keep them from getting ill. And obviously they were of age now, they were a grandmother, so they were quite old. And the other 2 were still children, 7 and 9. And they had to stay there in the freezing cold for 3 nights. And because of how strong they were in their Sikhi, they said that we're not going to eat or drink from these Mughals. They'll bring food for us, no matter how hot it is, could be garam dod, could be anything that we'd go for, we're not going to have it. Because they're the Mughals, and they've made our Dada, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj Shaheed. They're looking for our father, who's out in the jungles, in Machiwala jungle, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, who was also in the cold, in the jungle, sleeping on the floor. And they were in the Thandabot and they said, you know what, we're not giving in. We're not going to eat, we're not going to drink. We're going to stay strong. And where did they get that from? Obviously Mata Gujri Ji, because we've seen how much strength she already has. So for those 3 nights, Mata Gujri Ji did not sleep. Not even once. She was there looking over the Sahibzade. In the movie it looks like, it's all easy. But in reality, the Sahibzade were being tortured every day because they were trying to get them, the Mughals were trying to get them to convert. They were being whipped, they were being burnt, their clothes were being torn on a daily basis. They came back to Mataji with blood on their face, on their body. Once you've been whipped, you've got marks. When you touch it, it hurts. They came back in a state. Every day they came back with something new, with a new form of torture, just so that they could convert. And they're only 7 and 9 years old. Where did they get the strength from? They roared like lions and they said, we're never going to convert, do what you want, light us ablaze, whip us, do whatever, do as you please. And every day they'd come back to Mataji. And then there was a good Sikh Pyara who used to bring garam dud for them at the end of the day, at night. He used to smuggle in hot milk for the Sahibzade. Mataji used to feed that to them and to herself, and she used to change their clothes, heal their wounds, and look after them every night. And then at night she used to place them on her thighs, both their heads on her thighs, and she used to watch over them the whole night as she joined with the Vaheguru Mantra. She used to sit there and recite the Gur Mantra the whole night. Brahm Gyani si. She used to attach her liv to Akal Purkh Vaheguru, and she just used to meditate through the whole night. And how do you think the next day the Sahibzade were able to walk into the same court and go through another form of torture? Because the whole night their Dadi was there giving them all that strength through the Vaheguru Mantra. So, as I said, the Sahibzade were being tortured And obviously Mataji was there to provide them support physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And the one main thing that they did was tell them Sakya from Itihas, tell them about the Shaheed Singhs, tell them about how their own grandfather became Shaheed. She used to fill them up with so much birras. She used to give them all this spirit from our Itihas. All these Sakya used to fill them up, and that would give them the strength to walk in the next day knowing very well what was going to happen. So now we're moving to the final day in the Tanda Burj, where the Mughals have said that, you know what, these boys are refusing to convert, they're really stubborn, and so we're just going to have to call them forward for their Shaheedi. And we all know how that plays out. So it's the next morning, Amrit Vela, they all get up and they do their Panjbaniya Nitnem, they sit together, do their Gur Mantar, so they've already got that source of strength. Mataji again heals all their wounds and changes their clothes, wipes off all the blood, you know, makes them look really nice and beautiful, puts new basta, new bana, new chola on for them, new dastar, new kalgi, you know, really like dresses them up as if it's their wedding. Because it is their wedding. It's their time to be wedded to a Kalpur Guru. It's their time to give Shaheedi. And so instead of tears, instead, like as it shows in the movie, you know, there's like a really upset scene and like there's a lot of crying going on. None of that happened. Mataji was on it with the Bani, giving them the strength, you know, making them look beautiful and feel beautiful. And then Mataji goes, now you're going to go into the court and you're going to confront the Mughals before your Shaheedi. And she goes, when you go in there, you guys are going to roar like lions and you're going to Gajar Fateh. But then they have this thought, like, you know, when we say Fateh to each other, somebody else responds, because our Fateh never goes khali. It's not just a greeting. We say, Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. Victory will be off the Khalsa. The Fateh will be off the Khalsa. So it's not just a greeting, it never goes empty. So that was a bit of a dilemma. And Mataji goes, you're going to enter the court and you're going to stand facing each other. Obviously you're going to address the court, the Mughals, but you're going to stand at an angle where you can see each other and you're going to Gajar Fateh to each other. And that was so beautiful because they walked in like lions with their heads held high and they said Fateh to each other. That showed all the Mughals that, you know what, at the end, the Fateh will be of the Khalsa. The victory will be ours. And not only did they show that, but they also gave that affirmation to each other that, you know what, we are the ones who are going to win at the end of it. And I found that was a really beautiful tactic. And so it starts there. And so now before the Sahibzade go into the court and Gajar that Fateh, Mataji holds them close when the Mughals come to take them to the court. And she holds them in her embrace, she hugs them tight, and instead of crying, instead of showing a moment of weakness, she recites the Dohra. She goes, Tikar por dili se sir, Prabhupur kiya payan, Teg bahadur si kriya, kari na kin hu aan, Teg bahadur ke chalte, payo jagad ko sok, Ha ha ha, sab jag payo, ja 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 surlok. In this moment, Mataji filled them up with so much strength because she knew it was their final moment of Shaheedi. And she said, you too, Pyare Gursikh, you're going to give Shaheedi the exact same way that your grandfather gave it, the exact same way that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj gave Shaheedi, you're going to do that as well. And it says, ha 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 sab jag payo, that maybe the world cried for him and maybe the world will cry for you. Ha ha karde, they will cry for you. But ja 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 swadalok, sach khand vich jakare gajarge. Everybody's gonna be there letting out jakare with your names. And guess what, Sangatri? That's what we do today. Up until today, we let out jakare with the Sahibzade's names. So did Mataji's bachan not come true? She filled them up with so much strength and she said, now you guys go into the court and you gajar that Fateh and you do what you have to do. And that was the message she left them with, was that Dohra. So they walked in with Bir Ras, they walked in with that at the back of their mind, that you know what, we're going to give Shaheedi and Parlok vich Jakare gajarge. So now they go into the court and they're going to go give their Shaheedi. And Mataji is still in the Thanda board, so they've separated them. And obviously they're brave as ever, looking like lions, and they're taken to be bricked up in the wall. And what do? A Japji Sahib da Path. How beautiful is that? Where does our strength come from? It comes from Bani. And what's even more amazing is that Mataji sat there in the Thanda Burj, was doing a Sukhmani Sahib da Jap. As the Sahibzade were being made Shaheed, as they were being bricked alive, Mataji was doing Sukhmani Sahib, and the Sahibzade themselves were doing Japji Sahib. And so their Shaheedi happened, and at that time they left their physical body once their throats were sliced, just like their Shaheedi, like their grandfather. So they left their bodies and they came to see Mataji in their Sukham Sarir, in their subtle body, which is not this physical body. So they came in a form and they came to Mataji in the Thanda Bot, and they go, "Hey Mataji, we fulfilled our mission, we fulfilled our purpose, we've completed our task at hand." And Mataji goes, "Yeah, I thought so, because I can't see you physically, I can't see you in your body, but Sukham Sariri this stuff." And then at that point, Mataji goes, "You know what, I'm next. I'm coming right behind you, because I've been there for you through all your life." And that was the time that Mataji said Fateh to the Sahibzade. She didn't do it when they left. It was when they came back in their subtle body to inform Mataji of their Shaheedi, that she then said Fateh to the Sahibzade and said, "I'm coming right behind you." So obviously Mataji knew that they've been made Shaheed, and she's done her Sukhmani Sahib da Path, and then she sat there. And this is where it gets interesting, because now the Mughals come, and they come to Mataji to let her know that, they're feeling so good about themselves, we've made the younger Sahibzade Shaheed. So they've come with this big ego that, we've won. And then they go to Mataji, they expected her to be sitting there crying, but obviously Mataji was just doing her job. And they go to Mataji, "You know what, you're old, half your family's not here, why don't you just convert? We'll give you luxuries, we'll give you a good life, why don't you just become Muslim as well?" And this is where Mataji shows up as a lioness. She stands tall and she goes, "These were my grandson, outside in Machiwara jungle is my son. Before that, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was my husband. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji was my father-in-law. What makes you think that if you couldn't get one of them to convert, you can get me to convert?" She was like, "Guru Gobind Singh Ji, my son, drank my milk. I looked after him, I brought him up. The younger Sahibzade, I brought them up. I've been there for them." She was like, "From all these amazing people in my family, do you really think I'm going to be the one to turn, when I was the source of their strength and courage and their peace and happiness?" So Mataji roared like a lioness and she said, "There's no chance that ain't happening." So from there, the Mughals, they were really shocked. They thought that, she's old, she's probably just going to cry and give in. And when they saw that, they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what was going to happen next. So they went back to the court to let them know that Mataji just refused. And in that time, because Mataji knew that there was nothing else left, but these were her final moments, she sat down and she did a Japji Sahib da Path, and she did Vaheguru Mantar, and she took her breath, her pran, her swas, up into her Dasam Dwar, all the way to the top, and she left her body. And that was how Mataji left, strong and courageous. And then the Mughals came back and found her, and then they made up all sorts of stories that, she hit her head on a brick in the Thanda Burj, or she passed away from shock because the Sahibzade were made Shaheed. But in reality, she knew. So she had done her Japji Sahib da Path, which gave her the strength, and then she did her Gur Mantar Jap, and she chiral her pran, her swas into her Dasam Dwar. She sent them all the way, and she left her body. And now I know this sounds like a story, for lack of a better word, but I just want it to feel real. I want it to bring it back to us. What are our sources of strength? Japji Sahib, Sukhmani Sahib, Guru Sahib Di Bani, that is our source of strength. Our Vaheguru Mantar. Let's do it. We're moving into the new year tonight. Let's move in with strength. We all know we face hardships, and that's not going to stop. I'll be lying if I sit up here and tell you, life's going to be perfect, there's going to be no hardships. It's going to come, the challenges are going to come, but we're going to face them head on, because that's what our family did. We are the brothers and sisters of those Chotte Sahibzade. We are the grandchildren of our Dadi, Mata Gujri Kaur ji. Let's not forget it. Let's take their strength. Let's beg for a piece of their strength. Let's join with Barney and let us get on with things and take that sukh into our life. Let's always remember Mata Gujri ji and remember that she is the giver of happiness, giver of sukh. If you don't remember anything else after today, just remember that one thing. That by saying Tan Tan Mata Gujri Kaur ji, we're going to get peace and sukh and happiness in our hearts. And we can do it. We can do whatever's coming our way. And I just want to end on that note, that let's take strength from Itihas and let's take strength from Barney. Let's connect back and let's be stronger this year. Please forgive all my mistakes. And if there's anything that you liked, please take it with you. If there's anything you didn't like, please leave it with me. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.